Hello, this is Miss Anderson from Building Successful Lives Speech and Language Services. I am going to show you one of my mini lessons for compare and contrast. This activity will build thinking and language comprehension skills in students. It may be used for professional development so that speech-language pathologists know how to properly instruct students in this area of language processing, and it may also be used as an instructional resource to teach children about comparing and contrasting. This mini lesson can be used in speech-language therapy or the classroom. SLPs or teachers should explain the difference between these comprehension skills. It is important to clarify any misunderstandings that children may have. After the mini lesson, provide guided practice and subsequent independent practice activities for the children to learn how to compare and contrast. This mini lesson can serve as both a therapeutic tool to remediate language disorders by speech-language pathologists or as an instructional tool by classroom teachers. Either way, the goal is to provide a ready-to-use mini lesson about compare and contrast. What does the evidence say? Well, we know that compare and contrast is a higher-level language and reading comprehension strategy that assists children with deepening their understanding of vocabulary and information. In order to describe similarities and differences, they must identify specific relationships and information in vocabulary, reading passages, and text features such as graphs and charts. Why should students learn about this? Compare and contrast is a critical thinking skill that can contribute to a child's academic, social, and life success. It will help them become better thinkers, readers, and leaders. And there's some of my evidence references there that I used. Building Successful Lives provides quality speech and language therapy and educational resources for children and adolescents. Please make sure that you follow my website, buildingsuccessfullives.com, and enter your email to subscribe to start receiving the community newsletter and just to stay abreast with everything that is the latest in communication, language, and literacy. Now, this part, you can use this part of the lesson to teach children directly or just for your own review. Have you heard the words compare and contrast? What do the words mean? Think about it. Compare, children, means to describe, explain, or talk about how two things or statements are similar. You can compare nouns, people, places, and things, events, what is happening, statements, true information, facts, beliefs, opinions, or fiction stories. Contrast means to describe, explain, or talk about how two things or statements are different. You can contrast nouns, events, statements, or fiction stories. Did you know that you can compare and contrast nouns, events, and statements from looking at pictures or real photos of nouns and events, one reading passage, two reading passages on a similar topic, two books from the same author? Now let's practice. This part, you can have the children practice. How are an apple and a book similar? How are an apple and a book different? Did you answer correctly? They are both things that you might see at school. They are different because an apple is a fruit that you can eat and a book is something that you can read or write. How are sunglasses and a sweater similar? How are sunglasses and a sweater different? Think about it. Share your answer with your speech-language pathologist. Did you answer correctly? They are both something that you can wear. They are different because sunglasses are an accessory that a person can wear to protect or block their eyes from the sun, and a sweater is a type of clothing that a person wears when he or she is cold in the winter. How are scissors and colored pencils similar? How are scissors and colored pencils different? Look at the picture. Tell your speech-language pathologist the answer. Did you answer correctly? Scissors and colored pencils are both school or art supplies. They are different because you can cut with scissors and color with colored pencils. Listen to the word pairs below. Describe or talk about how the words are similar. Say, they are similar because... Okay, let's look at the word pairs. Pen and pencil. They are similar because... Book and magazine. They are similar because... You say the answer. Pool and ocean. They are similar because... Sweater, jacket, they are similar because... Sandals, boots, they are similar because... Eyes, ears, they are similar because... Square, triangle, they are similar because... Did you compare these word pairs correctly? Let's check. Pen and pencil, they are both school supplies that you can write with. Book, magazine, they are both something that you can read. Pool, ocean, they are both somewhere that you can swim. Sweater, jacket, they are both something that you use to keep you warm. They're both clothing items. Sandals, boots, they are both shoes that you can wear. Eyes, ears, they are both body parts. Square, triangle, they are both shapes. Listen to the word pairs below. Describe or talk about how the words are different. Say, they are different because... Pen and pencil, they are different because... Say your answer to your speech language pathologist. Book and magazine, they are different because... Pool and ocean are different because... Sweater and jacket are different because... Sandals and boots, they are different because... Eyes and ears, they are different because... Square and triangle, they are different because... Did you contrast these words correctly by explaining the differences? Let's check. The answers may vary a little bit, and that's okay, just as long as it's accurate. A pen and pencil. The pen has ink and a pencil has lead and an eraser. That is how they are different. Book and a magazine. The book is usually published one time, but a magazine can be published every month and has advertisements. Pool, ocean. The pool has chlorine in it and the ocean has salt water. Sweater and jacket. A sweater does not always have buttons or a zipper, but a jacket does. Did you know you can also compare and contrast photos or people? Let's practice. Look at the pictures. What is similar between the two photos? I see people talking and smiling and having a good time in both pictures. The top picture is different than the bottom picture because in the top picture the people are drinking coffee, and in the bottom picture the people are working. And in the two pictures are similar. The two pictures are also different because in the top picture the people are standing up and in the bottom picture they are sitting. Compare and contrast these photos, places. Take a look. Well, in both pictures, the people are outside. And it both looks like that their people are outside in a busy place. The top picture looks like the people are busy going to work, everyday life. The bottom picture looks like it's probably vacation or a weekend. They're just out having a good time, but it's not going to work. And in the bottom picture, the person is posing for the picture, and in the top picture, people are just going about their daily life. Compare and contrast these photos or events. Both pictures, the people are outside doing something. They're similar because they're both people, They're different because in the top picture, those are little girls, and in the bottom picture, those are firefighters. In the top picture is different because the girls are playing in the fall leaves, and in the bottom picture, the firefighters are putting out a horrific fire. Did you know you can also compare and contrast fiction stories? Let's practice. Think about the title of these fiction books by Herman Parrish. What is similar and what is different? Amelia Bedelia's First Day of School, Amelia Bedelia's First Apple Pie. Think about it and tell your speech therapist. Both stories are similar because they're both about Amelia Bedelia's first time doing something. They're different because the first story is about her first day at school, and the second story is about her first time making apple pie. Let's compare and contrast some informational text. Think about the title of these paired informational texts, which is true information. What is similar and what is different? What do you already know about these two men? Thomas Edison tried and tried again. Ben Franklin's invention. Well, I know they're both people, and I think they're both inventors, but they did different things. They invented different things and had different accomplishments. Let's take a look. Did you know Thomas Edison was an American inventor and businessman who invented many things like the telegraph, light bulb, movie camera, and alkaline batteries? He has over 1,000 patents for his inventions. Edison was homeschooled by his mother since he had difficulty learning at school and was very hyperactive. Did you know that Benjamin Franklin was an American inventor, scientist, and author? He invented bifocal glasses, the special Franklin stove, and did the famous experiment that confirmed that lightning produces electricity. Franklin is known as one of the U.S. founding fathers since he helped draft or write the Declaration of Independence in the U.S. Constitution. Compare and contrast informational text. Listen to these reading selections about two Native American tribes in the U.S. Compare and contrast the information below. Visualize what I'm reading to help you comprehend. Creek Indians comprised the majority of the population in Georgia and Alabama during colonial life. They outnumbered both Europeans and African slaves. They were a nomadic and self-sufficient tribe. A civil war started in 1813 because of a disagreement with the Europeans. In the 1830s, they were forcibly removed and sent to Indian Territory in Oklahoma during a period of time known as the Trail of Tears. Now let's listen to this passage so we can compare and contrast. Seminole Indians are related to the Creek Indians, or Muskogee, who fled to Florida to escape European settlers encroaching on their land. These Native Americans intermarried with local tribes and formed a new tribe known as the Seminole Indians. Sadly, many Seminole Indians were forcibly removed in the 1830s to Indian Territory in Oklahoma. These passages are similar because they're both talking about Native American or indigenous people of the United States. They're different because the Seminole Indians lived in Florida, and if we look back, we can see that the Creek Indians lived in Georgia and Alabama. That's how they're different. They're also similar because, unfortunately, they were forced onto the Trail of Tears and sent to Oklahoma by the European settlers forcibly. That's just an example of some things that we can do to practice compare and contrast. Speech pathologies, these are other learning activities and materials that you can use. There's different flashcard activities by Super Duper that you can use to explain similarities and differences. Speech Corner also has a nice deck that works on comparing and contrasting. Rachel Lynette, an educator and resource maker, has tons of activities and task cards to work on compare and contrast, some of which she's now transferring to Boom Cards. This is a good book, Developing Awareness of Similarities and Differences by Jean Gilliam, and also the Language Processing Treatment Activities book that I've highlighted previously by Dr. Gail Richard and Dr. Marianne Hanner that works on semantic or language processing activities. And I also have compare and contrast learning activities with my historical African Americans and historical Irish Americans. And in my As I was saying, you can also use my vocabulary progress monitoring tool to informally assess a child's ability to compare and contrast basic Tier 1 vocabulary. You can progress monitor up to 3 additional data collection days in speech-language therapy and informally assess compare and contrast along with other semantic language processing areas. I also have other mini lessons available in my Teachers Pay Teacher store to help you instruct students about synonyms and antonyms, about Tier 2 vocabulary, about multiple meaning words, and then the other video that I've already shared is to instruct students about associations and categorization. I also have a separate product that will teach kids language intervention in relation to semantic processing. Those are more PowerPoint and Google Slides information that has more of pictures that are great for early language learners. It's a more simplified instruction material that they can practice, and I have 2 sample videos on my YouTube, and the rest are available for purchase in my TPT store, Tamara Anderson. Thank you and have a wonderful day.